Rob's Fix-It Shop. I'm here at a high school, and I'm here with the art teacher, Jim. And there's a bunch of Potter wheels in here that are broken. And so I thought today what we'd do is we'd figure out what's wrong with them, and then we'll come back and see if we can fix them, getting them all working. And because realistically, we need to be able to have this 3,000-year-old technology. We need modern kids learning this, so. So anyway, so we're just gonna take a look around, see if we can figure out what's wrong with them, and just do a bulk fix-up. So if you think you'll find that interesting, just hang on, and it should be an interesting ride. Okay, so what's going on with this one?
Okay, so this one stopped working a while ago, couldn't turn it on, realized it was the toggle switch. So this just needs a replacement, and it still works if you fiddle around with that, but you don't want to, so I took that off to see if I could figure out how to get that off. Realized no way am I going to try to get into that can of worms.
Okay.
So that needs a toggle switch, otherwise it should be fine.
So this is
that
just...
toggle broke is what happened, and then it's like, I don't know how messed up that is in there. I didn't
Oh, so that's
it was just a toggle switch. So would that whole thing come out and just get replaced, basically?
Oh, that's interesting.
And nothing else was detached. It was just,
well, this
just that wasn't working.
This is a rectifier. This is supposed to be attached to here.
But nothing else is unplugged.
Okay. Do you have a piece of paper?
I know, we're in our room.
Yeah, I need a piece of paper and something to write this down, right?
That's my goal, is 12 that work. It seems to be just fine.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote works on it.
Okay, so let's try this one. Some of these have switches on them, some of them don't. Sounds funnier, but it works. We'll call that one okay, I think. There's a weird whirring noise in there, but it's fine. But it works.
All right, so let's just get this top off. Because
If
on
you
this
can,
one, but on this
I tried
one,
soaking those with water for like hours to get all the clay out. I tried WD-40 in them.
yeah, so I don't think this has a screw in it.
Really?
No.
Well, if there isn't one in there, you just pull it off. And I tried a lot of things.
Do you have a hammer?
Yeah.
There is a set screw that comes in from the side as well.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, but it's almost impossible to get to. So it looks like there's a set screw underneath right here, and it looks like it's lined up with these nuts here, because it's got to be kind of hard to get to.
Actually, that's a pretty good idea, because I'm going to see what's going on in here.
Okay, so it's on this side. Oh, it's loose.
That's going to be nice. Having those off of there.
Okay, so that's loose.
Do you want to try using a crowbar?
No. We just have to kind of break it loose of the...
Don't hurt yourself. You want me to stand on that damn table and see if that does anything?
No, I mean, it's just the percussion of this thing. Ooh, that sounds a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if we put oil down there, it's just gonna...
I tried that. I let it soak with oil for a while, nothing happened. When I first started doing this, I cleaned them out with water, I put oil in them, let them soak, nothing happened.
Okay, so this one doesn't work at all.
No. So yeah, I don't see any, the light's not coming on. Oh, it is on, Rob. So the light is
the
on.
light's on?
So power is getting to it. So we know it's not that. Yeah.
Okay, and do we have...
Let's try it this way once. You push on that. Push down on that pedal just to make sure. Other way. Yeah, there's nothing happening. Okay.
Okay, so...
No, I would maybe not have that unless you want to see if you can get it to do something because it's going to go really fast. I'll put it down a little bit and find out what you need.
do we have another one around that we can just plug the motor into?
One right there.
Okay,
Or
one-
even that one right here.
Yeah, bring that around so I can plug the motor. So then we can tell whether it's the... We'll plug this one in.
And it works.
Okay.
Oh my God, that was
So we know
cool.
the motor works, right?
Yeah.
We don't know whether this is working or not.
So maybe that's the problem. Are those hard to take off? Looking at that, because I might be able to get one off of one of the old ones.
What's that,
In the other
these?
room. This thing. Does that come off of there?
don't know,
Because if
that's
it does, then you just replace the pedal. 'Cause I have more of these in the other room that are not working.
Okay, we need a
Yes.
cup or something to put the screws in.
Okay. You know what I mean? I got some that I just took out of commission. Pedal off that and try it on here. We'll know that's the problem too, right? If we
Right.
If we could do that. Okay.
But let's just see if we've got our switch. Our black is coming into here. This is coming out of this. What? Okay, so that's our neutral. Oh, okay. Why don't you unplug it? Okay, so it looks like,
Was that off?
yeah,
That's probably it.
might be.
Oh.
Okay, now plug it back in.
It's weird, and that would come off on its own. Just some vibrations, maybe?
No, I'll show you.
So be really careful now, because like with that there, that thing goes like crazy if it's on. It works. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have speed control.
But it's running. Okay, weird. Nope.
Okay, but it's running. Okay, so
That's
why don't you
interesting.
power it down? It looks like, you see how this cable is really pulled tight? It looks like probably if we
That's cool.
just kind of move this in a little bit. Like that.
That one unplugged, right? You saw that?
Yeah.
Speed control would be controlled by this device, you think?
No, this is just the on and off switch.
Okay.
Right, and then this motor board is controlled, has these two wires coming into it, right? And then it's using, these guys are like little electronic switches that adjust the kind of wave that goes to
What
here.
is that thing?
That's,
black thing?
that is a capacitor that's probably used for just power filtering.
Okay.
But, yeah, so we've got this.
Do you think the pedal's messed up, or it's not that?
Looks like we've got a black, white, and red coming off the pedal. Do we have another pedal that we could?
We'd have to take it off that one. If you can do it, I don't mind, just for the short term. You know what I mean? It's the only.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how we
find
get it.
out if one's not working, and we could just say we'll just use that one.
Here, let's do this.
Okay.
Okay, so. It's got a pliers or a wrench.
Yeah. There's another model of the same kind on there. We could just get the pedal off if we need to. I'll be right back. 'Cause that'd be nice just to switch it out.
Jim, I don't think we need to.
Well, I'm just gonna look and see though.
Okay. Okay, so we're just taking the pedal off. All right, so here's our final tally. So we've got the first one needs screws. We need a reattach rectifier. It needs a new switch. All very doable. The second one has power, but only low speed. So I'm going to take the pedal home and figure out how those things work. I couldn't get it apart here. Number 3, we got the plate off. It's got that screw right there, but it needs a new one. because it's weird. And so I'll have to see if the company has them. And then lastly,
Oh, that was you talking.
we've got this guy here, and the plate is stuck on. I was able to get to the set screw that's underneath, or actually it's right here, because it's in line with these guys. But there's no screw in here. We'll get 2 screws when we get one. And we're gonna have to figure out some way to get this off. But we could do that. We're pretty smart, so. Okay, so we're, turns out there's more wheels. We're in this dingy backroom school dungeon, and
That actually.
it looks like a place where you bring
That's a kiln.
stuff.
Look at that. You should put that on. That's an ancient kiln. No longer in use. Isn't it cool?
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I can't even fit it all on the screen. Okay,
All right.
that's a hell of a kiln.
Yeah.
Got a big blower and everything. Wow, cool. Okay, anyway, so we've got this one here. Let's call this one number 5.
Okay.
Okay, what's wrong with it?
There's no cord.
Well,
no power cord.
It probably won't work without that.
I know, but that's when we replace the power cord, we're in good shape. Is what I'm saying. I think that might be all that's wrong.
Right,
We
you
have
do the
no
camera work
way.
here.
Okay.
Okay.
We have no way
That's
of
right.
knowing if it works because we can't plug it in. So.
Oh, well, it's just one of these kind of plugs.
Yeah, I know. We can try it with this one,
Well,
but-
this is just a.
but that might not be all that's wrong. You know what I
I'm
mean?
guessing it's not.
That you want me to just? I'll just let you. If you can get the one off of that one, we can try it. That one should have a cord, doesn't it?
Well,
I'm guessing
whether
it
it has
does.
a removable cord.
Yeah. Should we try this one and see if it works then, and then we can kind of.
Sure.
We know what's wrong with that one now, probably.
Well, my suspicion is there's more than just a cord, but it looks like, yeah, I have a cord like that, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's pull this one apart. Yeah, at least we can see how the screws work on this one. All right, then nice combo of Phillips and non-Phillips screws. Jim, I think I might have found the problem. So it looks like there's no fuse. And that's definitely a problem. But we don't want to just put a fuse in. So much, this is a controller kind of like the first one. We've got a switch, we've got a rectifier, it's a DC motor. I don't know what this thing is, but it's got a blown fuse.
Oh. That's all it is then.
Yeah, so the light goes on here, but there's nothing kind of coming over.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't mean that it's just a blown fuse, right?
Yeah. Well, it probably is.
No,
Else they would
it's
pull it out
probably
of
something. It's probably something else,
Okay.
right? It's probably something shorted on here.
Oh, so like when the fuse goes, it can cause more trouble.
No. The
Oh.
fuse is to protect the circuit from burning up, right? And it might just be protecting the circuit from. I mean, it might be a short in the circuitry, or it could be in here. We don't know, right?
Where is the fuse in this thing?
Right here.
Oh.
So probably what happened is the fuse burned out, somebody took it out, and they probably never got around to replacing it, right? But that doesn't mean that just replacing the fuse will work, right?
Sure.
I could just take a screwdriver and jump her across there, but I'll blow the circuit breaker
Yeah.
if it's bad, right?
You want to take this off and take it to your shop or not?
Not really, because I can't take the whole motor and stuff, but doesn't look like anything's burnt, right?
Step.
Yeah, you'd think it would say on there, and it does not.
Is that the fuse right there, that black thing? No.
There's supposed to be a fuse inside of it.
Oh, there isn't one in there then?
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Somebody trying to mess with it. Okay.
Somebody took the fuse out, right?
Yeah. How about taking the fuse off the other one that we know isn't working? Should I go do that? The one in
Yeah,
the
okay.
room? Should it just slide right out?
Yeah, you turn it.
No, no, but it comes like.
Yeah, you
falls
turn
out.
it and it'll come out.
Okay.
Okay, now foot pedal.
Yeah, okay. Well, it works. It sounds too good. But it works.
Sounds good, actually.
We'll go all the way down with it though if you do.
That's all we got.
Oh, okay. Maybe it just needs some lubrication. Okay, well, we got that figured out. Sweet. No rush on that one then. Unless you want to do it just for curiosity. Good. That's all we had to do on that. Nice.
Okay. I'll unplug it. All right, well, here I am in the lab, and I cleaned it up. It was just white before, but it took me a while to figure out. I was trying to get the screws out of here, and that's not the way you get into this thing. Actually, this here presses in like that, move that like that, and then that like that. So, and then it should come out. Yeah, so that took me a while to figure that out, but we can see right away what the problem is that this potentiometer here is not rotating at all. And it does have a set screw right in here. But this thing's just barely moving. So I'm going to clean this potentiometer. And try to get a little oil in here. Okay, so I'm just going to loosen that up, but then we got a couple of things going on in here. If we look right here, there was a, let's see, there was a nut right here, and there was no screw in it, but I think that nut, when you tighten that down, that pushes this bar right here against here, and I think so that's what's going to give you some tension in your movement. And so I'll see if I can find another screw to put in there. And yeah, and then we'll just check to see if we've got, if this potentiometer is actually working. I think it probably is. But so let's say if we go down all the way here, let's see, when we go down, we rotate. So our set screw's over here. Nope. Okay, now if we can just loosen this up a little bit, get some of that old grease off there. Okay, so let's see what our potentiometer there is doing. See, if we had known this, we could have tested it. So there we're very low. And 5K. Yeah, so it's going all the way. So that's good. All right, so let's just put a screw in there. I don't know. This looks about right. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know though. It seems like that's doomed to fall out. Oh yeah, so now it works perfect. It's a little bit too loose, so let me try tightening this up. Wait, here. Sweet. Okay, so then let me try this other one. So it has the full range. So this thing's working perfect now. So that's good news. All right, we're back in the art studio, and I think the first one we're going to work on is the one that had the bad pedal that I just repaired back at the shop. So let's get going and wiring that up. Got our pedal here all fixed up. We have to come in through here.
Oh, I remember now.
Right, and then
Do you want your list?
and that's all we need to get this back on there.
There it is. Just said the wrong order. Nice.
See, that's slow, right? And then
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay.
Sweet. Cool.
Okay, so we got our wires all connected except the ground, and there that looks like it's working tip-top.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll just connect that ground wire and then we'll be done with this one. Okay, all right, number 2, done. Okay, so number 1 needs screws, reattach the rectifier, and it needs a new switch.
That's this.
That's this one.
What's a rectifier?
Rectifier just converts the AC power from the outlet to direct current.
So that didn't get replaced?
No, it's just flopping around in there. Okay, so
Shield your eyes.
all right, well, let's give it a try. The new switch. Switch off. Switch on. Oh, that works nice.
That's great.
Okay, another one
It's
done.
nice.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh.
so that works. And then number 3 needs a new screw.
That must be that one.
Yeah. So, like I said, I went to. I had to kind of order this. I would go to this place called Bolt Depot, and they've got everything. So these are stainless steel. I called the company, and the company is pretty lacking when it comes to parts. And I talked to somebody, but they were like, "Oh, I'll direct you to this person," and that's the last I ever heard.
About that.
Okay, so okay, so that's on there.
They're not as easy as the other kind, but they're not that bad. Yeah, I'm super excited because, yeah, it's perfect. You just pull this.
All right, so that's tight on there, and that is a 3/16. All right, so that one's done. Okay, so then on this one, we were going to take this tray off, but to do that we have to get this off, and so we want to first make sure our Allen screw is. Okay, so there's our Allen screw. Man, that's a bear to get into.
Yeah, I know. And that's their design, you know, is that you take this off in order to clean the paint. It's like a lot of work to do that for an everyday use.
Well, I got it off. It wasn't easy. I don't have any WD-40. I forgot that. Didn't have my torch. I don't have that. So I put soapy water in there, and that kind of worked its way in eventually. But now it's off.
Weird. How is it pushing up when there's nothing going in?
Oh, baby, look at that.
Beautiful.
All right.
Oh, it's making that noise. Not that it matters. Rob, it's just like magic. Oh, my God. You can use them, and the kids can't get away from cleaning them.
Yeah, right.
Oh, they won't. They would never do them because they're like,
All right, so let's put a fuse in this one. And then, let's see if it works. All right. So let's just take these screws out and just check. So we're not getting anything through the fuse.
Well, that makes a difference, you think? Okay. So get rid of all that?
Yeah, get all the clay off, I guess. All right, well that's it for Rob's Fix-It Shop, Pottery Wheel Edition. And how many did we fix?
We fixed, I think we fixed 14.
Well, we've got 14
monkeyed with
working
all-
now.
Yeah. So,
But I think we fixed about 6 of them, right?
Yeah, well, no, I can tell you right now. We fixed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one of these had a problem. So 7. We fixed
Yeah, so we fixed 7, and there was nothing complicated about any of the fixes. It's just kind of figuring out where to buy the screws, where to buy the switch, and just kind of taking one at a time and fixing them. And then we got that other one, that last one, out of the back room, put a cord on it, got the fuse working, adjusted the wiring, and we got it working too. So I think these are what, $1,600, $1,800? Yeah, they're not cheap or whatever, but it's nice for students when they're coming in to have a nice wheel to work on. So if you like the video, please hit like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Alright. So usually you're supposed to wedge this. We're going to skip it for tonight, but wedging is when you go over. I'll just do it a bit. See it from over there? So wedging is where you're going to work the clay. You're basically kneading it.
Yeah.
And what it does, it kind of aligns the molecules so that everything tends to be pushing towards the center of the clay ball, if that makes
Kind
sense.
of aligns the crystals.
Yeah. And you have to, and it doesn't have to be done, but you've heard before, right, you got to get the air bubbles out, so this also helps just to get all the air out of it too. But usually you want to do some wedging before you start. A small piece like this isn't going to matter anyway, but I do encourage my
Small
kids-
piece, what are you talking about? Small piece, I wanted to make a big.
No. Alright, so then the next thing I'm making tonight, I hope this wheel's going to work, but yeah, this is the one I'm going to use this one.
This is the one with the screw.
This is the one with the noise.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
We're gonna have to live with it.
We're going to now. Oh, I need a bat. Go and get one of those plastic black things. Because these have these pegs on them. And
Yeah, otherwise
these
you.
can't come off. They won't come off. They're like on there. We could have taken them off and get the wheel off, but. We did all this. I wonder if the other teacher washed these because these were not clean. All right. So the first thing you do is make it a nice round ball, a nice compact ball. So what you're doing right now is essentially you're kind of centering because you're getting everything to be all nice and uniform before you start, as opposed
Right.
to just throwing a blob on there. Right? Then I like to flatten the bottom just a little bit, so it's almost like is it Patrick or SpongeBob? Patrick, right? That has that moundy looking house.
Yeah.
So kind of like that. So what I do is I put a little bit of moisture in the center just to have it stick, right? And then I smack it in there. And I want to make sure.
You know where you're in a.
We're going to
It
center.
is.
We'll center.
Okay.
But I get it as close as I can. Usually I don't like these because these have lines on them. See
Yeah.
that? And then you just aim for that.
Yeah, well, you could put lines in it
You could, but
just by taking a knife.
typically. So anyway, now the first step is I want to make sure it's on there. So I'm just going to hit it, not at full speed, just to make sure it really is on there good and tight.
Yeah.
Now I want to make sure I can't pull it off. So you should be able to actually pull the bat off with it if it's
Yeah.
on the way you want it to. Makes
Okay.
sense? Okay? So good and tight. The next thing is I want to get this stool as close as I can to the wheel. So I'm actually having my nose over the middle of the clay. I don't want to be back here. A lot of people sit way back here.
Okay.
Doesn't work because you're trying to get all the energy that you can over the clay, right? Now I get my hands really wet, and I'm going to put some water on there as well. And that's where I'm going to go in and I'm going to hold the center of this. And right now I'm just putting pressure on it and just holding it. Just holding it.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just getting it to be in the center. And that thing that you think about with Ghost, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's coning up, so I'm going to actually cone this clay up by pushing it on the bottom. That makes it come up, right? I'm
Okay.
going to push it back down again.
Why? What does that do?
Everything gets centered together. Okay, so this is almost centered. You can see now that the wobble is leaving. It's not going there, but it's much better than it was.
So this is all about centering.
Yeah, the beginning is for sure. If you don't center, you're going to have a super hard time.
So you've just made a bowl. If you just take it off and carve out the center.
No. Not really. This is not centered like I want it to be.
Uh-huh.
I do not like that sound. It's really annoying, isn't it? I'm going to cone up one more time, and then I'll bring it back down. This arm right here, too, is a lock against the joint between my hip and my leg, right, so that joint.
Yeah.
So I have an anchor. So this shouldn't move at all. This hand's doing a lot of stuff. This arm just kind of stays there. Okay, so now it's centered, okay? So the first thing to do now is open it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of this by just having my finger sitting in the middle
Right.
until I see that it actually is staying in the center. This is not going to be the chosen wheel by the kids. That sound. Okay, so now I found the center, right?
Yeah.
So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two thumbs, I'm going to hold them together like this, and I'm going to slowly push those down into that center. So I'm actually getting now an opening started, right? So I got to be really careful not to go all the way through, which is what a lot of people do when they first start. When I get down
You
to
mean all the way through to the bottom?
Yeah, you go right through the bottom and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
hold the piece. So right now I want to check it. I can use that thing we used earlier. I want to see how far in it is. So I stick this all the way through, and I can see right now I'm a little over a ½ inch.
Okay.
So I can go a little thinner than that, but I wouldn't do a whole lot more because as soon as you do that, you end up getting too thin and you can mess up pretty easy. Alright, so there's the first thing, right? And the first thing I do after I get that opened is I'm going to compress the rim. I'm going to push that down, holding on right there and pushing down. And then I'm going to start to open the bottom up. So now I'm pulling towards this hand with these two fingers just to start getting the bottom open. And I'm not going full speed anymore, I'm slowing it down, see that? So now I've opened it up and I'm flattening it out. And then I'm going to do is more compressing of the bottom. I have to move my thumbs back and forth to make it strong down there before I do anything else, okay? Just making it more compact on the bottom, so it's not all cookie in there. Alright, so then the first thing I have to do now is what we call pulling up the walls, the sides. So I take these two fingers and I put them on the inside, and I'm actually going to create a little groove for my fingers just to hang under. And then I'm going to cut a groove out here, so I should be able to get some clay on my finger. And then I'm going to put these thumbs together so that they're touching. And these should be almost like I'm imagining that I have clay between those two things. So I'm pulling up with, pushing up with this.
Like a caliper.
Yeah, and this is just kind of riding along this one. But I'm putting pressure with this one more than the one on the inside. So I'm going to start pulling my walls up now. So I'm gently moving up. And I wait a full rotation before I move. So that's why you go very slowly. So you see what happened? It came up a little bit, right? I'm going to do it again. And I'm pushing down because I want to actually make my bottom a little bit more open. And here I go again, pulling my sides up. Okay, and then I'm going to compress that rim a little more again. And at this point I like to switch to a knuckle because it's a little bit easier for me to control. So now I'm going to do the same thing with a knuckle. It's a really nice sound, isn't it? And that's basically what you're going to want to try to do right there, right?
Okay.
So then you have your piece of pottery. And I can cone this up a little bit to make it so I can make it come up a little higher. So I just go and sometimes they flare too much and then they end up, you start losing control of them. So I like to cone it in a little bit, and then now I can pull my sides thinner. Make sense?
Oh yeah, that's been nice and
That's
thin.
it. Alright, you're going to do one.
Okay.
So we got to start with fresh clay. You can't use clay that's already wet. You have to start with the stuff that's, you know, been run through the machine or brand new clay. So you want to cut a chunk off of that, wedge a little bit, and then make it into a ball. I'll get that cleaned up for you. Should we use one that doesn't make the noise, or do you care?
What?
If you want to use one that doesn't have the noise going.
No, let's do the noise. That looks about right, yeah?
Yeah, about the size of a fist. Don't make it too big. Bigger ones are harder to center. You'll find out very quickly.
Okay, so then I knead it.
Yeah, and basically you're rolling it over on itself. My hands are too wet to show you right now, but you're basically, what you're going to do is you're going to put it, not flat. It's like, let me just do it with this one real quick. So if you put it on here, you push these And you should get a thing looking kind of like that. Then you like, this is too wet. Then you scoot it over and you'll do it again. So basically, what happens if you're doing it right, it almost looks like it's rolling up.
Okay.
Like it's a rolled up thing, you know, rolled up blanket. But it doesn't matter. You're going to compact it into a ball anyway. And you're not probably going to fire this one. Maybe you will if it works. It only matters if you fire them if they're not properly, you know, because then you might have some problems when they fire. But if you're just doing it for practice, it won't matter. I wouldn't even make people wedge if they're not going to. There's no reason to. I'm going to waste this clay. I'll tell you what. I'll just stick it in this bag.
Okay.
I'll have it later.
So what about this being
I'll
all
clean
wet?
it up. So the first thing you got to do is take a rib. These are ribs that used to have a rib sign on there. Somebody took it off. It's something. Got to take one of these things, and then this gets all the clay off. So I'll just hold it here in the center. And then once that happens, you just take your sponge, hold it down the middle. And then we need a towel.
I saw one up here.
Because you want to start with a dry wheel. You can't. They won't stick to a wet one. Boy, I'm so glad that we can use these pans on these wheels. It's going to be so nice. So just hold it in the center when I spin it and just dry it out. And then, if you got it into a nice round ball, the first step I said was just put like 3 dots in the center of water so it sticks. Stick it on there, and then I can coach you with the rest.
Okay.
But you gotta make sure you're really close. Get yourself as close as you can. Don't sit way back.
Okay. So
Yep, just
3
like
dots of water.
Yep, just 3 dots of water.
Oops.
Just enough to have a little sticking.
Okay.
Yep, smack it on there nice and tight in the middle best you can. And grab it and see if it moves. Does it move at all? Oh, it's on there pretty good. And do the trick just to see if you can actually pick up the bat with the clay, then you know it's on nice and tight. Yep, it should be good. So then what I do is I put it on very slowly with the pedal, and I just kind of hit the sides of it just to kind of push it. You're just like tapping it. You know what I mean? So make sure to push that back just hitting it. But I just tap it so it really is getting more into the center. You know what I mean? You're just tapping it.
Okay.
And then, you know, it's not center, but you can hit it pretty hard, Rob. You don't want to kind of get it to be in the middle before you start. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're getting a little bit better. You can hit it harder. You want to push it in there. Like that, yep. But don't go too fast. You'll lose control. Yeah. I think you're doing all right with it. Okay, so now if you want to start centering, this is where you want to make sure that you lock that elbow right there in that joint. And this rests on there the whole time.
Okay.
But you want to make sure that you keep this from going like that.
Yep.
So I want you to try that once. Just spin it right now and see what you keep your arm spinning or moving. See what's going like that? You don't want to do that. You want to try to keep it locked.
Oh, I see.
That's
Okay.
why putting it in that joint's easier. There you go. And then you get so you really put a lot of pressure on there. So can you hold it there and not have it spin? You should be strong enough to do it. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so let me do something real quick. So pull your hands back. I'm going to see if I can just get it going really fast. I'm going to pull it into the center before we start actually trying to really center, because it was pretty off center. So I was pulling it towards me. So now you should be able to center that. So now it's getting your hand in there, and then bringing this one in tight against it, and trying to get it so it doesn't wobble anymore. That's your goal, right? No wobble. And you can cone it up. You push on the bottom, have it come up, and then take your fist and push it back down with this hand. And I'll push it back down. Don't squeeze with this hand, just hold it there. This is just like an anchor, that's all it is. Okay, you're getting it. It's coming down. It's gonna center. But I wouldn't do that. Oh, okay. What I would do is I'd have it here, and then bring this hand in. This is how you get it to cone up. I'm just pushing on it really hard at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then bring my fist down. And I'm not in a good position. I'm not locked. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm losing it. But you're bringing it down. This one just stays right there. It doesn't do anything else. Okay. All right. can see the wobble goes away, then you're centered, right? And I would do they're pushing it back down with your fist. So now you're going to push it back down. Make sure this stays on the wheel right there. It's really close to being centered now. So pull your hands away gently and just see if it seems like. See, it's getting better. You're centered right here. You're just not centered everywhere, right? So it's getting there. So what I'm going to have you do on the next one is I'm going to have you take your hand and slowly turn it down to form almost like a round it over like that Patrick house, right? So as you're bringing your fist down in, you're also going to tip it down so you round it over. Okay, you're close to being centered. Take your hands away again and look at it. So you can see it's not 100% centered, but it's getting there, right? It's a lot better. There's another trick that you can do since you're strong enough and you have big hands. Go full speed one time. You can also just hold it really tight. Now watch. My hands are wobbling. That's centered.
Okay.
See how it's not wobbling anymore, right?
Okay.
A little bit. It's just because of that. So you can just get rid of that if you don't like that little blob on top, because that's just throwing off the illusion of it. All right, so now the thing you're going to do is slow it all down again, right? And here's where you're going to find that center, okay? Make sure this hand, though, is sitting right there in that position, and it's really wet, okay? And then you're going to take your finger and you're just going to hold it on top until you know your finger's in the center. So you're not pushing, you're just holding it there. Just one finger. So you can tell it's in the center. It's not like going like this, right? It's just right there. Yep. So now it should be in the center. So now you can do the thing where you take two thumbs. So now they call this crab hands. You're not putting any pressure on the clay down below. You're just hanging there. And then you slowly push your thumbs in. Right down. You don't go too fast. Just go nice and slow. Go straight down. When you get down to where you think you're about an inch from the bottom, I would stop so you can check. Otherwise you're going to go through. About an inch.
About 3/4.
Okay, good time to stop. So, that's okay.
But
now you know that you didn't go through, all right? So then I want you to do the compressing of the rim, where you take the two fingers. So it'd be those. No, which ones? Yeah, these fingers. No, wait, which ones? This is your right arm, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually. See, I'm opposite. Yeah, this is your anchor arm.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. No, that's your anchor arm. So you will take these two fingers and you'll lightly hold it right here, just like hold it like that, lightly, and then take this finger and lay it on the top. So it's like you're just trying to compress that rim, but gently. See what you did? You got rid of all the roughness, right? Mm-hmm. And then it also makes the rim so it's not going to fall apart and like start cracking. You know, like to start tearing. Now you can take your hands away. So now you're ready to do the next thing. So now you can do a little bit more of what you were doing with your thumbs.
Yeah.
But let's check how much we have before we do. I bet we're about an inch, right? So slide your finger down it, just to check it. Yeah, you're about an inch, so you can go a little deeper. Well, the same thing you were doing, just go a little deeper.
Crabbing it, right?
Yep, yeah, don't have any pressure. It's catching something in there.
Yeah, I bet if you took that panel out.
It's got to be bearing though, isn't it?
No, I don't. I think that there's a board on the bottom,
Okay.
and I think it's just.
All right, how far do you think you went? 1/4 inch?
I think I went further than that.
Spin it when we get that water off, so you can see. Just spin it. Just gonna get the water out of there. Okay, so now you still got you're over a 1/2 inch still, aren't you? You can go a little more than that. I would just be careful not to go way down, because once you get down to the bottom, you'll just rip right out in half. Most people shoot for about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch for the thickness of the bottom. All right, that should be okay, I think, as long as you're about a 1/2 inch. Because it'll get thinner when you're doing other stuff anyway.
All right.
That's why I don't like going down very far right away, because then you can't backtrack. And you're like, oh, but you're really gentle and not fast. If you go too fast, it's gonna lose control. Yeah, you can go that slow. So you're pushing out to make the bottom widen out a little bit more, right? Are you feeling it moving out? You can go a little faster, a little easier, just a little bit. Yeah. Just so you're not gonna push down, just push out. Don't push down. it should be opening up. Yeah, yeah, now take them off and see what you got. So now it's way more open, right?
Yeah.
So now you can actually just go like this with your fingers and just kind of flatten that bottom, right? Just flatten it. So it doesn't have all those little bumps and craters and stuff all over it. Okay, so now you're ready. I think you're ready. So now what you can do, where you're going to put your fingers in and just cut a little bit more of an overhang than you got, just a little bit more.
Just like this?
Yeah, just a little bit. And then take your finger and go, and you should be working on this side of the wheel. It's a little counterintuitive, but you're going to actually be having these fingers on the inside and these fingers on the outside. So you can go in and put a really big groove, like I'm doing right here, right? So it gives you a place for your finger to sit. Okay, so then these two fingers, and this might be hard for you because the length here,
Yeah.
you might want to use these two. Well, I'm just thinking that.
No, 'cause my fingers are
But
cut.
will they come together like that? Can you do that with them? No, those two? Can these two come together with the difference if you go like that? Because you do want to use these two fingers if you can. You have more control with those than these two. Does that make sense?
No,
You think it'll work? Well, then use the other two. That's okay. And then these guys go on the outside there.
Oh, I see.
Yep,
I see what you.
Yep, yep. And these should be, imagine you're sitting below those fingers. Go a little faster though, don't go super slow. And then your gentle, even pressure going straight up. Straight up. Full rotation before you move, right? Just moving a little bit at a time. And it's okay if this gunk starts coming off, it's not a problem. When you get to the top, don't go over the top, release it. Don't let your fingers go over the top.
Okay.
Like that. Okay? So you got this weird ridge right here. Let me just do it real quick. You can go a little
Okay.
faster, but I'm just going to get rid of that ridge.
I can get rid of it.
Okay, just make sure the ridge goes away. Because your finger's going to keep catching on that ridge, you don't want that. There. All right, now compress your rim. That thing you do, right, where you do pinching and one finger on top to get that to be flat again. Yep. Okay, now I think you should try the knuckle thing. I think you're going to like that. So it's the two on the inside, and you take your knuckle and put it in that groove. And then I want to make sure my thumb is touching my hand. They can't just be on their own. And then I'm slowly pulling up.
And
You're
the
imagining
knuckles
the
down
knuckle.
here,
Yeah, but I would do it over here because you're right-handed. So the knuckle should be that one, and then, yep, and then you're slowly coming up with it. So you're applying pressure here, but more you're pulling straight up with those, right? Pulling straight up, gentle, because you might push through, don't go too hard. So you should be getting a little more height when you do that, right? Yep, you added about another 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch more. Nice, okay? So now when you're starting to lose the shape, see that's getting weird? That's when you want to do what's called coning up. And so basically what you're doing is you're bringing your hands in together like this as you come up.
Yeah.
And then releasing, and then that'll get that to go backwards. So get it spinning, you're coning it up. Or collaring, this is collaring, sorry. Coning's the other thing. So you're collaring, almost like you're slowly strangling it. Get to the top, and then pull it up, and then release. See, so it's getting it back in again. Now, if your rim is uneven, which it is, you can do that. If it doesn't work, I'll show you another trick. Because a lot of times it's what makes it seem like it's not, yeah, see it looks like it's not centered anymore because it's uneven,
Yeah.
see that? So what you do is you put a finger on the inside, and it's going very slowly, and you just push this through until it touches your finger, and then you lift, and that whole top will come off, and it'll be flat. Does that make sense? Otherwise I can do it
Yeah.
for you. Okay, so you're really slow, slower than that.
Okay, do I push it through the clay?
Yes, you're trying to actually, just until it touches your finger, and once it goes all the way around, you've cut the top off. So you gotta go, I would go in maybe an 1/8 of an inch. You're trying to cut a little off. And then you just pull that little piece off.
Okay.
Let me do it once.
Yeah, I kind of F that up.
No, that's okay. Okay, watch, go ahead, do it. Get it spinning slow. So I'm gonna push it through, but I'm actually cutting it right now.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
that? But I'm holding it there, and then I just pull it up.
Okay.
So now you can compress your rim and it won't look wobbly anymore, right? Make sure it's wet enough though. There's water on there. But see, it got rid of the wobble, so now it actually looks like it's a uniform piece. So now if you want to mess around, just make the walls thin and stuff, you can do that. But it's definitely a cup that we could fire. I could fire when I come in next week. Keep that going at this constant speed though. Don't change speed when you're doing it, pulling out. Yeah. So you stop and start, it's going to make it be a little wobbly there. There you go. Now you got thinner walls. You did that thing though. You got over the top. Stop before you get to the top and just pull your hands away. That's why I got that bend in it. Does that make sense? Let me do it without doing it. So if I get to the top, you go like that. I don't want to let my fingers go over the top because
Okay.
it throws off that rim. Go a little bit faster, just a little bit, and just take your foot off the pedal. It'll go by itself. There you go. Bring it up. You get to the top, release. Yep. Okay, and then you can collar it up if you want to get it back. You know, so if it seems a little wobbly, right, you can just collar it just a little bit. Make sure your hands are wet before you do that. So collaring is like you're slowly choking it. That's all right. Here, let me collar it once. I'll show you. We can get it back. So I'm not moving very fast. When I get to my fingers are slowly going in to strangle it. Right? When I get where I think it's about where I want it, then I just release. So everything's nice and uniform.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is use this rib. I'm just going to show you this trick to make your walls really thin and straight. So go for it. I'm just going to show you. So basically, I'm holding this out there instead of my fingers.
Oh, yeah.
And then
No,
I'm
let me try
pulling, but let me just do it once. You can do it again. I'm barely doing it. But I'm pulling my fingers along the inside as I go up like this. That makes sense?
Yep.
So I'm not just holding it there. These are also riding up with it. Okay.
Okay, so.
Yep. So you're very gently pushing out with these fingers and moving this up too. So you're slowly, because you can see what's happening there. It's pushing against the blade. You bring it all the way to the top. Then again, they'll pull away. Don't pull over the edge. Yep. There. See how it's nice and uniform. Okay. Yeah. Don't do that. People
Sorry.
always do that. No, but once you do, you're going to throw it off. So get it going really fast, super fast. I'm just going to try to pull it, holding it there, right? Because once you put your fingers on it, when it's not moving, you throw off the uniform. You know? The whole reason for using a wheel is to make things that are symmetrical.
Right.
It's the only reason. There, nice mug. I can fire that for you. If you want to mess with it a little bit, but I wouldn't mess with it too much because you had success on your first one. And people will do too much and then they end up wrecking them. So be careful. See what you did at the end?
Yes.
You went like that. Yeah. So it's not a quick movement, it's slowly pulling away.
See, I have a hard time with getting that round shape or whatever.
It took me a long time to get this. I was way too rough. Yep, so do the compressing. Yep. And then I like to do this sometimes too. Just hold this right there, just kind of clean it up a little bit and smooth that rim a little bit before we're done. Okay, do the outside real quick. Just to kind of clean it up. But that's a really, really, really nice piece for the first time ever doing it. Most kids, they can't get it the first time. They get so frustrated.
It looks like it's kind of like
It
this,
is,
though.
it is. You can get rid of that. Hold it up, we'll do it. But I wouldn't do too much because if you go the other way,
You're
flaring,
telling me to take the wind.
well, no, yes, but here's the thing. If you go the other way with it,
Yeah.
a lot of times they flop over.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta be careful. So I would use that wooden rib again. Where did it end up? I don't know where it is. And then do the same thing to get, you wanna get that to be less like a pyramid, right? I mean, less like a volcano.
Yeah.
So then just use the rib to get that more straight. So now you're gonna intentionally put more pressure up here when you get there, so it's not so much like a volcano, right? So not much in the beginning. When you get up here, to push out a little more. You're really gently pushing it, not too hard. Really gentle. By using one finger, I wouldn't do that. Because you might push through. You can push right through the side. Yeah, there you go. And bring the wood up with it, right? So you're going the same way. Yep. So now you got rid of that. Okay, so now I think we stop, and I'll show you why. So you're also going to trim this, so go fast. I'm going to get some of those lines out of it. Get that out
sorry.
of there. That's all right, just get it out of it. It's going to wreck it. Go fast. So we're going to get rid of the bottom by trimming it. This is kind of fun. So we're going to use a tool that's designed for getting all that thick junk off the bottom.
Okay.
And it won't look as wide, like an elephant foot. If I can find the tools, which are not here, where they usually are. Where do they all go?
Thought you're ready for school.
You can use this tool so not only for cutting, so you can like cut straight in like this, just cut down, then you can keep this right on there and push in under and clear out all the gunk underneath. So you don't need to do much more. If you want to make it a little less fat on the bottom, you could try holding it vertically like I showed.
Like this?
Yeah. So you're going to hold it vertically and make that little part go in there, right? Go a little faster with this because you don't want to stop and get caught on stuff. I'd even turn it more vertical so it's that blade is touching it. There. There you go. See what you're doing? You're making it more uniform, right? And then that stuff that we see on the side, I'd stop just for a second. So all these little swirls, if you don't want those, you can use the rib again. One of my students is really into this stuff. So you can just hold it there. You don't even have your finger, you can do it, but don't even have your fingers on the inside. I'll just hold it. It could go a little bit faster. But then that gets rid of all of those little weird, like twisted looks. See, that's so nice and smooth, okay? That's a nice piece. And if you were coming back, you could put a handle on it. Nice mug. Yeah, super nice. And if you want a rolled rim, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you want to, but they're kind of nice to have. This kind of a rim,
You can go wash your hands, whatever.
no, it's okay, it's just so they're dry.
And then I'll use this as the,
Will this be in your video too?
I'll put it as the